So hi everyone, thanks for the intro. So my talk is about how Imaginarium'S performance capture impacts the industry. So I go a little bit personal with my slides and a little technical. So if I go all techno-babble, just bear with me. I apologize if it goes a little weird for you. So anyway, my name is Chris. I'm a lead technical animator. So I handle mostly motion capture. So my background is I did a diploma in game design at Vancouver Film School, which is in Canada. So I took a one-year course just learning about video games, art, level design, things like that. But before that, I did my master's in game development at Kingston University, which is in the UK. So my interest has always been technology and art. Ever since young, I've always been one of those kids, just been really soaked into just anything digital, anything that's unreal, that's so imaginative. I've always been into that. So but more specifically, I'm more really interested in games. So I tried to learn as much as I could about animation, about games. So for my master's, I focus on how to improve playing games using not just conventional controls, but using hand gesture, movement, voice commands, things like that. So I explored all kinds of technology. Emotive is one of them, which is this headset where you play games using your mind. Sounds cool, right? So unfortunately, when I first tested it in 2011, it was still in a research phase. It's still a prototype. So the best I could do was just create a simple Pong game. So I controlled one of the bats. And believe me, it's not as easy as it sounds to control the bat using your mind. So then I explored with the Xbox Kinect, PlayStation Move, Oculus Rift, and so on and so forth. Then after I graduated, I ended up in animation. So I was the producer and co-writer for Cashville Kids. So I'm not sure if they're still playing it still in Astro, but you may have seen it or not. So it was a fun experience. So after that, I started just exploring games and just looking for opportunity. Then I landed a job at Imaginarium Studios. So for those of you who are not familiar with, it's co-founded by Andy Serkis. So he is best known as Gollum in Lord of the Rings movies. He was Caesar in the latest Planet of the Apes movies. So that's me and him, in case you think he's imaginative. No, he's real. And so Imaginarium, the main HQ is in London, UK. So there's over about 50 employees. But most recently, just last year, we established Imaginarium Asia Pacific in Malaysia, or more specifically in Johor. So we're part of the Pinewood Iskandar Malaysia studios, and our investor is Rizafora Ventures under Khazanah National. So that's our office right there. I would love to give you a tour, but security there is really tight. So if you're not careful, stormtroopers will shoot you down. Nah, I made that up, sorry. It's not true. So yeah, our aim, Imaginarium, is to create the ultimate next-gen storytelling in films, television, games, and digital apps. So, and we're also, because we're in a Malaysian branch, we want to also create a new IP in the future. So I'll get to that later on. So our portfolio, Imaginarium has worked on a lot of movies. You've seen them, I'm sure you've seen most of them so far. The Planet of the Apes movies, Avengers, Age of Ultron, and the latest Star Wars, Force Awakens. We also did some games as well. One of them is Rise, a Son of Rome. Yeah. And so right now we're also, aside from movies and games, Imaginarium has also did some work for TV series and to explore motion capture as much as possible in all mediums. So for this one, Fungus the Bogeyman, it's based on a popular children's books in the UK. It was in the 70s, so we're now made it into a television series in the UK. So to demonstrate this kind of special effects, the work that we do, I'll play a video right now.
Some of the work we do at the Imaginarium Studios is to create characters that hitherto hadn't been possible to create for television and film. So we thought that Fungus would be a perfect opportunity for us to use our technology and our creativity to create the new Fungus for the new generation.
We knew we were going to have Timothy Spall and Joan Scanlon as the voices of the characters, but we knew that the visual effects really had to hold the viewer's attention all the way through.
The actor provides a voice, but someone else who's a sort of movement person provides the body for the live action. Then there is a visual effects team who are working on the face and the way in which they are going to interpret your expressions.
We all, as human beings, recognise the subtleties of the human face. What they're doing is managing to match that animation to what is going on in your performance as well as what is human, which is a wonderful innovation.
This technique that we're using of physical body actors married to face replacements driven by performance capture technology is something that actually has never been done before anywhere, let alone for television.
It's going to look amazing. The bogies are absolutely ginormous. They're like 8 foot tall and they've got their heads on.
It's magical to see it, coming to life.
You're really not sure where the real world ends and the digital performance begins.
People will be just taken along with the emotion of the story, and that's when we'll know that we've done it right.
For everybody who's got a scatological, fart-obsessed 5-year-old child inside them, they're going to dig it. I think you enjoy that. Oh, it's got a bit of wet in it, isn't it?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so we try to explore motion capture in all kinds of media. So another one we did is going to theaters. So you may have seen the Lion King musical, We Will Rock You. So the one that we're focusing right now is The Tempest, which is part of the William Shakespeare works. So for this one, it's a little different. You might be wondering, how do we put motion capture in theater live action? So what we're doing is we're gonna do use holograms and just something really things that has never been done before. So as a demo, I'll show you a video one more time.
The Tempest is the most magical of Shakespeare's plays. I wanted, particularly for Shakespeare's great 400th Jubilee, to do something special.
What's 21st century magic? Well, I guess it comes in some kind of digital form these days. We've started to see it a lot more in film and the world of movies, but we've never really explored that in the theatre context.
And that's where Intel came in.
With The Tempest, we're really trying to redefine theatre in some respects and find a way to bring in new digital technology and really leverage it to make the story deeper, to find new ways to connect with a character and maybe a different audience.
It's the creative process drives the technology rather than the other way around. So it started to be a match made in heaven from that point of view.
I think that there's a set of really compelling characters that are 400 years old that I want to see Greg and Stephen bring to life for an entirely new generation.
Yes. The most exciting thing about what we're doing at the moment is enabling an actor to have a real connection with an avatar. It's the sort of thing that I do on a daily basis in a studio for films and for video games. In this instance, we're doing something that's going to be a live theatrical experience. What you see is what you get.
The play demands a spectacle. There's a mask in the middle of the play, an insubstantial pageant which fades into nothing, but it creates wonder. I want to let the guys at Intel know a bit about what that tradition was, just how elaborate those masks were, and how they were pushing the envelope. I don't think an audience coming to see The Tempest in 2016 will ever have seen anything quite like it. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find moments when that most magical of Shakespeare's plays can create a new and a very special kind of wonder. So watch this space.
So aside from all those, we also focus on music videos. So any fans of Coldplay? So their most awesome. Their most recent music video is Adventure of a Lifetime. So involves a bunch of monkeys just dancing around and playing their instruments. So all of those 4 monkeys are played by the musicians themselves. So they were involved in the production. All of them wore the mocap suit, and they just went nuts, and it was really fun. So you see Chris Martin over there. Yeah, so I've been talking a lot about motion capture. So what is really motion capture is, we call it mocap for sure, is the process of recording the movement of a person or an object into a digital medium. So the way it works that these people will be wearing a special suit, and the camera captures the movement, and you can translate the movement into a computer and turn into a 3D model. So that's me testing the suit. So I went to the UK to do that. So a lot of my coworkers said no. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Heck yeah!" So if you ever had a chance to put on the suit, I recommend it. It's awesome. So a little bit of a history of like before motion capture, what do people really do to present with animation? So one of which is rotoscoping, which is the process of tracing a certain actor, and you make it into like a fictional kind of character. So in the old days, Disney movies use it all the time. So here's like Peter Pan, for example. The artists would record real actors in the scene, then they would trace it frame by frame, but of course they cartoonize it. And also not just in movies, in games as well, like this cult classic, Another World. So the creator himself would record him holding the gun, then he would translate it into the game. And the latest one, A Scanner Darkly, which is this really cool cyberpunk film featuring Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder. So they would take live action footage of these actors, then they would trace them frame by frame and colorize it to create this really cool vibe. And also, let's not forget stop motion or claymation, where it's the process of you create all the animation using models and plasticines. So if you're old enough, you might remember Gumby. He's one of the early works of that. And The Nightmare Before Christmas, and then the later Doom. In the original Doom, all the creatures were all made with 3D models, and the artists would take pictures of it frame by frame and to create this cool Revenant character here. And the latest attempt for a video game that uses claymation is this game called Armor Croc. So everything you see in the game is all stop motion, not a single piece of digital effects were used. And of course, then sometime in the 80s and 90s, we go into rigging, which is the traditional animation of everything's handmade. You move the arms and legs by hand, and then you have pixel art. So any gamers here might recognize this person, Mega Man. So the artist would draw the action frame by frame. So in all this, it's all been good, it's all been awesome, but what Imaginarium really want to focus on is motion capture. We really believe it's the future. We really think it's the target that we're going for because it creates a fantastic immersion. When you see these characters in real life, in the movies on the big screen, you really believe that they're really there. And with motion capture, you can really express with facial expression, and just the level of detail is just phenomenal. And it costs some cost benefit too, which I will get to later. So how does it work? In general, motion capture really involves a lot of indoor work. You have a bunch of cameras surrounding one room, and you have the motion capture actor who would be performing in front of in the middle of the stage. And what these cameras do, it will detect the balls attached to the suit, which we call markers. And then this camera will capture the fluorescent part of the balls, and it would go into the computer, and we can translate them into 3D models. So the best part of motion capture, everything is captured in real time. So there's no lag, there's no delay, everything is done in order. So there are two types of motion capture that we do. One is body tracking, which I'm the lead team. So it involves, as self-explanatory, involves the bodies from the chest, the arms, the legs, and depending on the level of detail, sometimes it involves a lot of people, like this scene here. And for this scene, normally you would want to take indoors, but other times you would take outdoors too. So another one is face tracking. This is really important as well. So when you see all those facial expressions in movies such as Rise of the Planet, it's all were taken by the actors, which we have attached sensors on their face, or sometimes we draw markers on their heads, so to capture the expression. So if you're into 2D animation, you might want to consider taking this role, because it involves a lot of facial expression. So if you're into those, if you're one of those artists that are into portraits and creating emotions, and this would be an ideal job to consider. It's really cool, because my coworker had was into traditional animation, so yeah, it just fits this perfectly. So methods of motion capture, in general, the bodies normally have 40 to 50 markers in total. The face, we normally have like 20 in total. So it's important that we capture them all in real time, and it's all there. And so there are two types. So one is the traditional marker, and we have the non-marker. So this one is using all the Xbox Kinect and PlayStation Eye. So this one, you don't require the suit or the markers. It's just you, and you just move around, and the camera will detect your movement. So this is mostly ideal for indie companies who just can't afford the big ones. So the software that we use for data tracking, which is to capture the movement, is Vicon Blade and Kara. So Blade is for the body tracking, and Kara is for the face. And once we capture all the movement, then we have to edit them using Motion Builder and sometimes Maya. So Maya is mostly for the face, and Motion Builder is just to translate the movement into the 3D model. And for Imaginarium, we utilize Unreal Engine too for making our games. So to simplify what I was talking about, for example, for this one, we have a person walking, and then when we translate them into the computer, you see all these lines that the markers detect. So it's the process of cleaning it up, make sure everything is right, the movement is correct. Then once we do that, then we put it to Motion Builder and Maya. We put in the textures, the 3D models, and voila, and face tracking as well. Yeah, so the advantage of motion capture is that everything is real-time results. You get instant result. It's really just no lag, no delay, and you can create a lot of complexity, and the realism is really phenomenal, and you get accurate movements, so there is no doubt that you will have any rigid robotic movement. Everything is fluid because it's projected by real actors. And cost benefit too. It is much cheaper nowadays to do everything in 3D rather than traditional 2D in animation. So in general, you can save up to a few $1,000s by just going to 3D. And as we all know, time is money. So with mocap, you get instant results. So it's a lot shorter, the time of producing it. However, the disadvantage is that to really create a real motion capture, it costs a lot of money. So small studios might not be able to go to the scale just yet because the cameras, the bodysuit and stuff. So the least you can do is probably use the Xbox Kinect or PlayStation Eye. In fact, there's this one company that they did a Kickstarter, and they didn't use motion capture, but they just used the PlayStation Eye to do all the movement, and it's doing well on Steam. And one thing too, reshoots. So we try not to have a lot of errors, but sometimes, people make mistakes. So there are a few occasions where a scene would not work as well, so we have to reshoot it again. So that will cost time and money to do that. So there's one instant where this actor, he was reloading a gun, and the character was supposed to reload a revolver, like the old Wild West gun, but he treated it like a normal modern handgun. So it wasn't right. So rather than reshooting, we had to cut that part. So that was unfortunate. And the manpower too, we require a lot of people in this production. We have it's not just like a one-man show. We need to have people that do the body tracking and then the face tracking, and then to put them all together. Yeah. So to finish off with my talk, I'll leave you with this demo reel of Imaginarium, of the things that we have done in the past. Uh-oh.
Is there a real problem with the playback? Can you repeat it one more time?
Okay. Okay, you work in the rehearsal, so.
Are you okay, Chris?
Yep.
Okay.
Just bear with me. Yeah.
Okay, we'll let the technical team try to figure that out,
Okay.
and in the meantime, maybe you can open the floor for question and answer. Yeah, if anybody want to ask Nik
Yeah, sure.
any
Okay.
question. I takut Nik pingsan ke atas. You're okay, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. You're doing great. You have that, what do you call, Mark Zuckerberg charm on stage, you know?
Really?
Like very calm, but you get people's attention. Yeah, it's really amazing. A round of applause for Nik, come on. Okay, wow. Yeah? Any question from the floor? For Nik? This is an amazing topic, yeah, for us to learn, especially students in animation and also gaming. Any question? Wow, since morning I have like a very shy crowd. Nobody wants to ask questions, but you people show like really good interest. Do you know how many people are here? We have like full house here. The next door is only like about 10, 20 people. I told you we have amazing speakers at track number 2. Yeah? So amazing speakers and amazing crowd here, but no questions. Come on. Hashtag creative, hashtag no question. Cannot be, ma. Any question from the floor? Come on. One question from...
We are right now focusing on contract work, but we're also creating new IPs. It's important that we believe that Malaysia really needs to be more creative and to have more new ideas. So that's why we're doing this right now. So we are currently hiring, and we have a link, but they will show later on if they get it work. So we have Imaginarium, but we also have a new division. We call it Imaginati. So that's a game focus. So, but right now it's only UK based. So if you're ever going to the UK, so good time to apply there. Yeah, and yeah, that's...
Perhaps one question from me. Do you think that we have enough talents in this kind of technology in Malaysia now? Do you think that we have enough like Gen...
For motion
I'm
capture?
from Gen... You guys are from Gen what? Gen Y. Same, we together lah, Gen Y also. Hey, come on lah. Hello. Gen X way. X, Y, Z. Do you think enough talent from the Gen Y to support Malaysia with this kind of
as far
technology?
as I can see, we do have the talent.
Yeah.
The talent pool is there, but but the only thing is just not a way. There's no venture. There's no how you say
to expand to
grow.
One question. I think this is very important question.
Yeah.
How did it take you to go that far so that you reach that global level like you do?
For me?
Yeah, for you.
Well, in my experience,
how did it start?
Yeah, it was really tough for me in the beginning because when I wanted to pursue games, there wasn't really a lot of courses back then. So when I studied computer science, I assumed that I would learn about Maya, about games, but it turns out it was just really techno stuff, which didn't really care much, but it was it gave a nice stepping stone for me. Then I thought when I do my master's, write a thesis, I thought that would lead me, give me the credibility to work in a game industry. I actually wrote a thesis which I was proud of about games. Then I would present it to the employers. They're like, okay, show us what you can do. Do you have any 3D, 2D work? I was like, no. Would you like to read my thesis? They're like, get out. So yeah, so it was a really unfortunate experience. And but what I can say is that you really need to socialize a lot, network like crazy. So that's what I did. Before that, I was one of those nerds who just hide in the bedroom and just, distance from the world. But in this day and age, you really have to expand yourself. You have to make yourself, expose yourself to the world. So be it through talking or through, so if you're into 2D, 3D artwork, show what you can do, create your own blog through DeviantArt, artstation.com, just really show what the things that you can do. And LinkedIn is very important. A lot of people say Facebook or Twitter. Twitter is really good, but I would strongly recommend using LinkedIn. Just really go nuts with that. Connect with all the employers that you can see, that you can find. Introduce yourself first. Don't just simply connect. Just like, hi, I'm a graduate. I would love to work at your company. Blah blah blah. So then you just expand from there. So yeah.
How many years have you been in Imaginarium?
I just for a few months recently.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And you are the lead animator of Imaginarium
Yes,
currently.
yeah.
So how many people do we have in Pinewood Studio?
Right now in Pinewood, there's only like 5 of us.
Do you need any extra staff to become the monkey, for example, for your next video shoot?
That would be
Yeah,
ideal. Yes,
yeah.
we need monkeys. No. we need real talents. Yeah.
You need real talents. Yeah, monkey. Just in case you need monkey, then I can be one. Yes. Cosplay.
Well, not
so
exactly.
From today onward, your name is Deadpool. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Deadpool. Second question of the day.
Actually, I do have 2 questions.
Okay.
First of which, where do you see the what do you think would be the next innovation for motion capture, or is there any new innovations which we are unaware of right now?
One question.
Yeah, that's really our goal right now, just to expand on the technology, see the things we can do. So right now, like with the power of VR, the virtual reality, so that's one possibility, because right now it's we believe that that's one of the futures that we're aiming for. So yeah.
Okay. Second question.
Well, since you mentioned VR, my other question is, okay, now we're seeing a lot of virtual reality gaming, we're seeing virtual reality movies and all, but how would you think they'll be able to come up with something which integrates both VR and motion capture in live gaming itself?
Well, that's true. Creating our own. Well, right now it's not really per se we use VR in like production-wise, but what we can do is to create like a product of its own, so we can like demonstrate to, because right now we're working on Planet of the Apes game, so we're using motion capture for that one. So quite possibly you will see all the motion capture action through the VR, so create a believable experience.
All right. Thank you, Deadpool. Any other question from the floor? Yes. Your name and where are you from?
Hi. My name is Li Hao, and I'm currently doing my intern in Brainy Bones.
Sorry, can you speak louder? Sorry.
My name is Li Hao.
Okay.
And I'm currently doing my intern in Brainy Bones.
Okay.
Okay. So my question is, normally for 2D or 3D animators, we need to animate those characters from scratch,
right?
From zero. But with you guys have the technology of mocap. So what does the animators really do? It's because mocap, basically all the animation has been done.
Right.
So all you guys do is just refining the action?
Yeah, so the things that, one of the benefits for animators to work in motion capture is that you can really, you understand anatomy. So sometimes when you motion capture and you put it into the computer, sometimes things don't register. Most particularly, the most crucial ones are fingers. So sometimes fingers go haywire. So sometimes it helps to have animation background so you can see how fingers work, and sometimes and with facial tracking too, you can see that if you want to really express happiness or anger, then it helps to pursue that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Answers your question? Okay. Yeah, I don't understand because it's animation stuff, all cartoon like you people. Okay. Chris, I believe the video is ready. All right. Okay, the video is ready. Let's watch.
The Imaginarium is Europe's leading performance capture studio and production company, dedicated to pushing the boundaries of the art, craft, and technological evolution of performance capture in the convergent space. A creative performance lab that brings to life truthful, emotionally engaging avatars and virtual worlds, with its sights set on next generation storytelling. An academy for film, TV and video game practitioners, teaching the transposition of the myriad of traditional filmmaking techniques into the digital realm. Myriad of traditional filmmaking techniques into the digital realm.
Definitely we need more the talents, yeah? Yes, more talents we need, yes.
Expanding the British talent pool and build
some more, yes.
expanding the British talent pool and building bridges to the multitude of facets that make up the emerging digital and visual entertainment industries.
Is this online, Chris?
Yes.
Are we on the net? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Perhaps the internet is not so good. Never mind, we're just going to sit here until 6 o'clock, no problem.
Okay. Yeah, I think we'll cut it from here then.
All right.
So you get the idea. Yeah. So like I said, we're currently hiring. So you can go to this website for more information. So we're doing, we have Imaginarium and Imaginati. So we're actively involved in the R&D and so I think that'll be all. So thank you very much.
Okay, give Chris your loudest round of applause. Thank you, Chris. You did great. Thank you.